Hey guys, welcome back to Just Friends with Abdullah. I think you may have noticed quite the strong title on this video, but hear me out. I just want to talk about it. I want to explain my approach and I want to explain my rationale, okay? I'm sure you've noticed this trend about self-improvement content everywhere online. You see it now all the time. And I think there's a bit of a scam to this. So haven't you guys noticed the sheer volume of self-improvement videos and content that we see nowadays? It's everywhere and it's across all kinds of businesses. I mean, it's non-stop. It's literally every time where you see and everywhere you go, you see all the time self-improvement content. And it does not stop anywhere or any channel, right? Now, what's the problem with self-improvement content? Is that you consume and you consume and you consume and you don't take any action. And that's the trap that I'm going to be talking about today. Of course, I value self-improvement content. I think it's fucking amazing. Trust me. You see people's lives change and become even better every single day, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in money, whether it's in business, whether it's making money online, right? It's amazing. It's really good. But the trap that I'm referring to is the really dark side of self-improvement. Is that you just consume and you don't take any action. You don't apply your learnings. And that vicious cycle keeps going on and on, going on. And it never stops. You find people all the time just lazing around, watching, consuming. And in their mind, it triggers some sort of, success story because they've actually just consumed it. But I don't want to jump to that just yet. I want to explain something important, which is the problem. So when you consume self-improvement content, it's because there's an intention behind it. And that intention is to be better, is to improve, is to seek new outlook in life, or to seek new chances and opportunities, right? And that's obviously a great thing to have. But where does the problem begin? The problem begins is that the more you consume, the more you watch, the more you think to yourself you've actually achieved something. Because you have that intention, by actually watching, in your mind you created that step, that hey, I'm actually doing something. I'm watching, I'm learning. But in actuality, you haven't done anything. You didn't apply. You just watched and consumed. And that is the biggest problem that self-improvement can cause people. It tricks their mind, or self-improvement content, it tricks their mind into thinking they've actually completed and attained and achieved something. And that's completely wrong. I mean, think about it. What is really the point in watching and consuming content and not applying it? Are you supposed to clap for yourself because you actually watched and you achieved something? Wake the fuck up. You haven't done shit. You haven't done anything. Until you apply what you learn, you haven't achieved anything. And that's something you need to keep in your mind. Now look, I'm not attacking you personally, but I'm talking about what self-improvement teaches people in an indirect way, or what enables them to think that they've actually accomplished a great feat by just watching, which is a fucking joke. You haven't done shit. You just watched. You just consumed content. In fact, you made someone else rich by their money. You made me rich. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, I'm still not rich, but my point is that the whole point of learning and observing people and acquiring new skills is to apply them. It's not to just consume. And that's what self-improvement does. And that's what the content does to you. It traps you in this cycle, which never ends, sadly. Some people keep telling you that, man, I need to watch. I need to continue keep watching because I'm not prepared. I'm not ready. I don't feel that I have the confidence enough. Nobody's ever fucking prepared. That's how it works. Nobody's ever ready. You're supposed to try, fail, most likely really fail, try again, probably fail again, and try again, and hopefully succeed. And that's how the game works. And that applies to everything in life. But what's not going to happen is by trying, or by not trying, and by not trying, and by just consuming. What's the point? You haven't tried anything. You haven't done anything. You didn't even take that first step. Sometimes people tell you got to learn on the fly. You got to learn on the way, right? You got to learn with how you proceed with things. But if you haven't actually taken that step, which utilizes the knowledge and the skills that you've attained through watching content online, then what the hell was all that self-improvement content all about? You think I was ready when I started this channel? Hell fucking no. I wasn't ready. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. But I took that step Because I know when I take that step, I'm going to force myself to be ready. I'm going to force myself to be consistent and apply my learnings. And that's how it works. As long as you take that step, you're going to be able to consistently produce, whether it's good or bad results, but you're producing something, and it will turn into good results eventually because you learn along the way. Listen, I'm not a preacher. I'm not someone special. Just to make that clear, I was exactly like a lot of people who fell for this self-improvement scam. I just kept consuming. Till this day, I do watch some videos here and there, but I kept consuming. I wanted to learn how to get this right. I wanted to learn how to get that properly done, and I never started shit. That was my mindset. I never took action on anything. I never accomplished anything through that mindset. But now, today, I'm starting my own channel. I'm starting my own content, and that's the approach people should have when they are watching self-improvement, not just sitting on the couch and consuming that stuff forever. All right, let me explain to you personally what I think is the problem with self-improvement content and the self-improvement scam and what it does to people and how it damages them. Number one, that dopamine feeling. So problem number one is the endless dopamine scrolling, or that's what I call it, which is basically you sit on your ass all day and you keep consuming and watching content all the time. It doesn't stop at 1, it doesn't stop at 2. Next thing you know, it gets to 20. You sit for 10 minutes, well, you're supposed to sit for 10 minutes, and then it gets to 15, and then suddenly it gets to 90, and then it suddenly gets to 180, and your whole day is wasted. And that's because your mind tells you, or you tell your mind, whatever you want to call it, it rewards you on the basis of you watching content that you have the intention to actually apply the actions, but you never do. And when you're doing all of that video scrolling, it comes down to the dopamine chemical in your brain. And dopamine basically is a neurotransmitter that sends waves of joy, of happiness, of pleasurable moments to your brain to give you that good vibes and good feelings. That's how it works. The connection is that when you're watching self-improvement content, you think your mind rewards you thinking that you've actually achieved something because you have met the intention that you had initially. The intention that you had initially, you've met it halfway and you've matched it. But obviously this is all fake because you haven't applied or you haven't actioned anything. There's a great article on LinkedIn that I will send you guys on the link, on the YouTube link that you guys want you to read. Really talks about the relationship between dopamine and achievement. Very detailed, really interesting, and I think you guys will understand more what I'm talking about here if you go and read the article, so check it out. The issue doesn't really stop here. When you consume self-improvement content, is because you're hooked on other people's success stories. It makes you feel good to see people winning in life. It makes you feel amazing to see people achieve great things. Why? Because it diminishes and it destroys your own limiting beliefs. Yeah, it feels good and it feels super nice to see other people winning, but not because you actually care about those people. It's because when you watch them win, you think to yourself, oh, there is a way out from the shithole that I'm in. There's a way out from where I'm in right now so I can be better. But unfortunately, that joy and that happiness that you feel after watching their content turns into hours and hours of wasted time and unproductivity. Basically, lack of productivity and obviously that vicious cycle that I talked about. And there's no point of it all eventually, and it all gets ruined for you personally. So that is what I mean by getting hooked on other people's success. You know, as human beings, we really like to see what people do, and we like how people really improve and how they've achieved. And that because it allows us to break the boundaries that we set for ourselves, right? What I mentioned earlier, the limiting beliefs. This again really affects how we function as people. And if we're not able to action things that we want to do, all of this goes into a point of no return, basically. Now, we did say that a lot of people enjoy watching other people's success, right? A lot. But guess what? There are others that suffer from that as well. You see, when you see other people winning and enjoying the fruits of their labor, and you are not somebody who is, who has applied what you want to do, or you're lost in life, or you're unsure of what you want to do, self-improvement content can actually set you back and cause further psychological damage to you. Because you see other people winning, it puts you in a dark place where you feel like, you're lower, you're beneath these people. you're not on the same level. You're not you cannot accomplish what they can accomplish. So from this perspective, someone who is, I don't want to say weak-minded, but someone who is a little vulnerable from a mental perspective can really take a bad hit when he is consuming self-improvement content. That's because he compares himself to others. He compares his lack of success to other people's success. What these people don't take into account is that so many success stories was really based on a lot of luck. Yes, a lot of hard work, but a lot of luck and really good timing. And guys, I have a video about good timing and good luck. Check it out here on the link up. I'm just gonna put it up now. But my point is that these people forget or are oblivious to the fact that a lot of people's winnings in life is really coming down to luck, timing, connections, network, a lot of things. Obviously, hard work and good planning and skills are there, but they don't take into account that their path is different than theirs, right? Their timeline is different than theirs. And everybody has their own path and everybody has their own timeline. And one of the worst things you can do as a person is compare yourself to others. There's no point, because everyone is born differently. Everyone is born in a different situation, and you make the best of that in that situation. I don't think someone in a third world poor country is comparing himself to the CEO of Barclays Bank. Different situations, different circumstances, and different lifestyles, and everybody lives within that environment that he is around. Correct? So that's something. That's something I always advise these people who are affected from self-improvement content. Don't compare yourself to others, man. Don't worry about it. Just do your thing. Focus on who you are. I always say this, and I'll keep repeating it in all my videos, probably. You know yourself better than anyone. You understand what works for you and what self-improvement content is applicable to you compared to others. If you're a farmer, and if you want to be a farmer, it doesn't make sense that you want to be living on a beach somewhere on a lifestyle and learning coding. Why the hell would you want to do that? It doesn't apply to you. Okay? So that's the mindset that you should be having. The mindset is, how do I learn to be a farmer, and how do I live to be a farmer? Right? If that's something that you want to do. And one thing I want to say is that with anything in life, you might never be prepared for it, right? You might never be ready for it. But the idea is to take action and be consistent. And hopefully you will perfect it along the way. Hope you guys appreciate this content. Always try to keep it short and simple. And talk to you soon.